Good afternoon.
Whoa. That was weird.
What?
I'm in a weird mood today.
Why?
Yeah, I'm just in a weird mood.
That's okay.
That's how we always do it.
Yeah.
Is that? No, it's not.
Like a ghoul.
We're on
Well,
point.
you would know if you show up.
Well, that's true. Well, we're doing it now. We are here, and I'm. We don't have to talk about this. It's not important.
He's right. We don't have time.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of you, by the way. That's why we don't have time.
That's true.
Because of you. I'm going to miss the first half of NBA Finals Game 5 because of you. You understand that?
Is that what? You think it's better than this?
The Warriors dynasty may end tonight, and I will not be there for the funeral.
Why can't you just miss shit, Nico?
Because that's not how I operate, bro.
Why can't you just be like, no, I'm not going to watch it?
I am an intensive pay attentioner of things.
Is that a real term? A pay attentioner of things?
I have this FOMO, that fear of missing out. And it's like if I'm not there when something goes down, I get antsy.
No one's going to miss you if you miss out.
Well, I know that.
You're fine.
That's the greater fear, isn't it? Happy Father's Day, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Father's
Very important day of the year. Day we celebrate all the men who have shaped us into the men who we are.
Mm-hmm. The deadbeats and the good
true.
ones.
That's true.
Yeah,
Who are the
well,
deadbeats?
we don't celebrate the deadbeats.
Of course we do. We celebrate all the fathers. Yeah. Every last one of them.
The ones who don't know.
Including the original deadbeat dad, God.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Wouldn't God technically be a bastard?
Jesus is a bastard.
Is he? I guess he
God is God.
Okay.
No, God let his son die on the cross, bro.
I think there's an argument to be had that they're both bastards.
That's all I'm saying. No, we celebrate all dads today, though.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Whatever.
And you know what we're going to do to celebrate dads, Nick?
The only thing we can.
Only thing we can. With a double feature. A Watat double feature.
Yes.
I was thinking of calling it the exact same thing, a double feature. I love that term. We don't use that enough.
And mother.
Ma and mother.
Ma and mother.
Does that roll off?
You know what? It's in honor of all of the badass moms that got to make up for the deadbeat dads.
That got
Then we didn't really pick good choices.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It's in honor of all the badass dads that had to make up for all the bullshit mothers. That's what it is.
Wow.
We couldn't resist the joke of doing Ma and Mother on Father's Day. That's our confession.
You guys have been wanting to talk about mother for a long time.
We've talked about mother. Oh,
no, again though.
with you on this particular program, yes, because it's we saw it and we immediately thought. I think we even said on our first podcast, like, this is something that should have been featured on Why Is This a Thing?
Yeah. It is squarely in our wheelhouse.
Oh my God.
And I do kind of feel bad for not having Zach on this podcast because Zach is an ardent defender of
That's
mother.
right.
Is he?
He's a big Mother fan. Oh, yeah. The biggest Mother fan of all of us. I kind of wish that he was here for this.
Wow, yeah,
But
you're
he's
correct.
dead, unfortunately, so
true.
we can't, there's no bringing him back.
No, we brought him back and he died again. Yeah, so.
Oh my God, you killed Zach. You bastards.
Yeah, no, when Zach returns from his tour in Afghanistan, he will be sure to give his thoughts on Mother.
His tour in Vietnam.
When we see him in 5 years. Ridden with PTSD.
Oh my God. This movie gave me PTSD though, let me tell you. No, it really did. Somebody shared a meme today.
Oh my God.
And it just subtly brought back this idea of people intruding on your privacy. And it just gave me PTSD.
Wow.
I was like, I just watched Mother. I can't look at this. It's too real.
Is this the kind of movie that gets under your skin in all the perfect ways? It just works on because no, because there are movies like we'll get into our thoughts on this film, but I wouldn't call this a film that just made me I wasn't disturbed by it or uncomfortable by it necessarily.
No, I think the perfect word is uncomfortable.
It
is uncomfortable through and through.
Well,
I agree with that description.
Beginning to end.
I think
it's not disturbing.
I think
it's not disturbing. It's not a horror film.
No, I think
At no point is it. It's just uncomfortable to watch.
I mean, it's kind of hilarious.
Oh, that is, I guess, the
not
larger
have that
question.
experience.
You did not find it funny.
I did not find it funny.
Okay.
Ma, I found funny.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
And also a little wild.
All right, so where do we want to begin?
Which one do we talk about first? Yeah, where do we start?
We'll save the best for last.
Yeah, I think we start with Ma.
Yeah.
And let's
You want to start with Ma?
Yeah. So Ma is a movie from 2019, still in theaters, was released a few weeks ago, starring the goddess Octavia Spencer.
Beautiful.
The beautiful Octavia Spencer.
I do like her.
Me too.
I love Octavia Spencer. I think she's a remarkable actress. I really do.
Eat my shit.
Yeah.
Oh, she's great.
So a little background about Ma before we get into the actual plot. Because I saw the trailer for this movie, I think like before, it was probably before Us. And I'm like, oh, this is just a trashy horror movie. Why is Octavia Spencer in this bullshit? And then I did some digging into like the pedigree. Directed by Tate Taylor. Do you know who Tate Taylor is, Adam Hall?
I'm aware of Tate Taylor, yeah.
Director of The Help, an Oscar-nominated film. Is an actor. He appeared in stuff like Winter's Bone. Also did the movie Get On Up from a few years ago, the James Brown movie, which I quite enjoy. I defend that movie. And the recently, not critically acclaimed, but audience darling, The Girl on the Train, based on the novel of the same name, which did very well. So like Tate Taylor is like, I mean, I wouldn't call him like a master of cinema, but is like a mainstream Hollywood director that does good work most of the time. So I find it very hilarious that he did this movie written by an unknown screenwriter for Blumhouse, the horror production company. And it is just total trash exploitation through and through.
Yeah.
With stars that are way too famous to be in this movie. It's like so Juliette Lewis, obviously from Dusk Till Dawn and those great 90s independent movies, she hasn't done a lot in a number of years. But like Allison Janney is in this shit.
Yeah, that's right.
She's like a multi-Emmy winner. Oscar winner. I'm sorry.
Winner.
Yes, she won for the Tanya Harding movie.
I, Tanya.
I, Tanya. She's in this shit. Luke Evans from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
Out of nowhere. I'm like, where are these fucking people coming from?
And it's like, why are such talented, high-profile people working on a dime a dozen horror movie? So it's just very bizarre. Nick, what was your reaction? You saw it alone in a theater, right?
Well, I didn't see it alone. I saw it in a packed theater full of a bunch of nice older women who were all very engaged and talking with the movie and
you don't
reacting.
Say. You don't say.
Reacting?
No, but they were actually like reacting out loud. Like it wasn't a silent theater. People were just like, oh, and it was fun. It was a good time.
Similar to what we were going through.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you describe this movie as a dime a dozen horror movie, and it's really not. And that's just the first reaction, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know anything about the movie. I just saw an ad for it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, here's a funny joke, Ma and Mother for Father's Day. And that was literally, that's how it went. So I didn't know what it was about at all. And it is just a fucking ride.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, yes. I mean,
I liked it. It was crazy. I mean, I don't know if it was good, but I liked it.
Oh my, no, this movie was fucking awful. But
I think those things are not mutually exclusive anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Especially, it's gotten to this weird place where I've seen more shitty movies than good movies at this point. So I don't even know what's good anymore. I really have no.
Yeah, you're totally uncalibrated.
Yeah.
This is such a perfect movie to be drunk for, though.
Oh my god!
I mean, because it's just that level of disposable, but also crazy, where it just fits nicely, and you can just go and have a good time. Like, I'm actually kind of annoyed that I wasn't trashed.
Yeah, this is not a rush to the theater.
They serve like alcohol at the theater I went to. I could have.
Do they serve alcohol at Lowe's now?
Oh no,
They don't. They really need to get on that.
no,
shit.
we're so
It's a
lame
Connecticut
around here.
thing.
Yeah, we're so lame. No, the Alamo Draft House has it down.
Oh, that was it's still.
Well, here's the thing. I went to an AMC.
Oh really?
Really?
They serve like beer and stuff.
Oh, what the fuck?
Dude, that's a Midwest thing, dude.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Seriously, the Alamo.
Good living out there.
The Alamo Draft House experience we had with Eraserhead is one of my fondest cinematic experiences.
That was one of the best times I've ever had in a movie theater.
Yes.
There's something about a light buzz and a rowdy audience.
Right.
It was great.
You know?
Yeah. That was terrific. Yeah. Ma is definitely if you're going to go see it in the theater, go to a theater that serves booze. If you're not, which you probably shouldn't rush out to the theater to see this, just like rent it for movie night and just like get your friends together and get snacks and pizza and beer and just like make fun of it. Because it is a rollicking good time.
Oh my God.
I had such a good time in this movie. I said it to Adam. I was laughing throughout.
Me too.
And so was the theater. So you said that you had an interactive experience. When one specific plot detail went down, when a character, let's just say when a character died in an unexpected fashion.
The first one.
I'm talking about the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
That
that,
was the
happened,
first one, right?
Yeah.
I mean-
oh, sure, I guess. When that happened, the entire theater started laughing. Everybody in the theater.
And it was just wonderful to see like everyone come together and realize this perfectly beautiful, wonderful, shitty moment.
It
in
was
a film.
such a communal
It's
moment.
like everyone gets it. Everyone understands how bad it actually is.
Specifically, so I mean, we're going about an hour into the film at this point.
Yes.
And it's literally just this. I mean, we'll get into the plot a little bit now, I suppose.
Sure.
I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but new girl moves into town, trying to make friends. Her and her friends are trying to find places to drink and stuff because they're in high school. Ma is this older woman who they ask to buy beer for them, and she slowly begins to become like their gal. She goes out, she buys beer for them, and then she starts inviting them. You know what? You can party in my basement because I don't want you out drinking and driving. I'd rather you be here. And then all of a sudden it turns into, hey, party in my basement. I got pizza rolls for you. We're going to throw a party. I invited all your friends, whole house party, loud music. And it turns into this thing where it's like every single day Ma wants to host a party. And they're all like, okay, lady, like chill. Getting kind of creepy, getting kind of weird. And they're also high schoolers and they're kind of jerks to her.
Right.
Yeah.
I did, by the way, find these high schoolers to be hilarious caricatures of high school students.
They're not even caricatures. This is one of the worst representations of high schoolers I think I've ever seen. I mean, they were not even trying. And I think it was most evident to me. I mean, obviously for everything else that was coming before, but when the point where I'm like, I'd completely given up is when the girl's talking to whomever and she's like, oh yeah, I got this beautiful bracelet that my boyfriend gave to me. It was so nice. I finally let him go down on me. Is that how that works? You give your girlfriend a bracelet after 5 months, and then you can go down on her? Is that how that works?
That chick was so obnoxious. That chick was hilarious. And just how like two-dimensional she was.
She was just so happy about it too. I love this bracelet. I let him go down on me.
How romantic.
Yeah, it's really
Yummy.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, eventually they start being kind of mean to Ma, and they're like, you're kind of crazy, like back off. And at one point, and so just to be clear, like Ma throughout this whole movie is stalking them on social media, learning about them, looking at photos of them, printing out photos of them, and it's very creepy. Mm-hmm. But at one point she sort of FaceTimes, I guess, or whatever, the whole school, and she's like, block Ma, everybody block Ma, and Ma of course sees this, and I think that's the moment where she loses it.
Yeah. Another hilarious depiction of how teenagers interact with each other on social media, where it's like if you're like sending out a group chat, you're not taking a video of yourself and then texting the video to, like, maybe you're doing a Snapchat, maybe you're doing an Instagram message. You're not filming yourself.
I think it might have been like an Instagram story or something. I don't know.
But she was on the chain though, and then she started replaying the video over and over again in like eerie fashion.
I had no idea what they were talking about.
So it was just a plot contrivance. It was just a way to dramatically insult Ma and for Ma to get mad.
Right.
That's all.
And so Ma's driving back, and yeah, actually, the way they represent social media in like every high school setting in any film is always
terrible,
a disaster.
And I love how Ma hears the message when she's in the nail salon.
That was a great scene, though.
That was an incredible scene.
That was so funny.
With the old ladies like, keep it down, mind your own business.
Fuck you, bitch.
Right.
So good.
So Ma's driving back in her truck, and she sees, it's not really important who she is, but long story short, this woman had bullied Ma when she was in high school.
Right.
And it becomes evident going further in the film that all of her troubles come from a very, very, very bad prank that happened to her when she was in high school.
Yes.
By some of the people who are now parents of these younger kids.
Correct.
So she sees this woman who is, she was like one of the pretty girls in high school, and
played by another recognizable actress named Missy Pyle, who you probably know from the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yep.
And I think she might have been in a Dr. Seuss movie or something.
She was in Dodgeball.
She was in Dodgeball. I think she was in The Artist.
Yeah.
So again, like recognizable name in basically a not only thankless role. I don't think she has any dialogue.
She has a couple lines when she's in
she
the
has
casino.
dialogue. She's drunk in the casino.
But
okay.
I remember watching it, and I'm like, a significant portion of her screen time is devoted to her giving Luke Evans a blowjob.
Yeah.
So
that is her character introduction. Yeah.
like, how do you pitch that to her? How does she agree to that? I mean,
She's a drunk hoe in this movie. That's what she is.
it might make
a
sense to me,
washed
but Luke Evans is gay, so
Right. Is he gay in real life?
He had a phenomenal performance.
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Oh, that is a phenomenal performance.
blame her.
So, Ma sees her running on the side of the road, and this is, at this point, again, like I want to set the scene here. You're an hour into the film. Yes, Ma's creepy and things are kind of crazy, but like all of a sudden, and you kind of know it's coming, but Ma just is driving and she just turns, runs her over. She's literally dead, and it's very vivid, very abrasive. And then she just keeps driving, and this is the moment where everybody in the theater laughed. This is the exact moment. She keeps driving, and she goes, "Fucking bitch," or something like that.
Well, see, Nico and I were laughing the moment she got run over.
The second the body made contact with the grill of the truck, that second, uproarious laughter.
For me, the whole theater was just like, it took a second, and they laughed when she just like was very nonchalant about
The
the whole
couple
deal.
next to us, though, making the jokes also made it that much more hilarious.
God, I love
it. Was so good.
Thank God for them. Whoever you people are, you were wonderful.
Yeah, it was so funny.
I couldn't because it was it's kind of brutal, but there's something about it that's just hilarious with how abrupt it is. Like, I just watching it's like, I don't think the scene before it called for her to go and kill somebody.
No,
at all.
No way. There was no reason to escalate.
It's like something out of Monty Python.
Like, she was a creepy old woman that was lonely, clearly lonely, and you learn that she also has this daughter, and she keeps the daughter locked away because she
tells her she's sick, so she works at a vet's office, and she has access to a lot of medications.
Right.
And so she uses these throughout. And she's injecting her daughter, telling her she's sick, clearly making her sick.
Right.
And this daughter goes to high school with the younger girls.
Yeah. And so you learn about the secret daughter, and you learn that the lady is definitely kooky, and her obsession with these kids is creepy. But you're right. There's absolutely no reason for it to escalate to violence in that sudden of a fashion. There's no reason why she wouldn't have plotted this plan of revenge years and years ago. It's like, because at first, remember, she was just walking her dog through the neighborhood, and these kids approached her and convinced her to buy them booze. So she just by happenstance found these kids and discovered that they were the children of the kids that she went to high school with.
Because I think when I saw the trailers for this, I was expecting it to be more of like a serial killer mystery.
Right.
That's the impression that I got. And then it literally, it's just so like, oh, I remember your dad and your mother, and I hate you for it, so now I'm going to kill you.
Right.
With no call for almost anything that she does, in my opinion.
Well, it's I mean, I think there is some sort of, you can kind of see a progression. I don't think she's necessarily like plotting this. I think she is very much reacting to what's happening to her.
Sure.
I do want to say that.
But do you buy that based on her past that she would get there?
Well, I feel like she should have killed people 10 years ago, sure. Because she's so unstable.
Right.
But
she was too fine for me.
At first, she really liked the kids. It's only when the kids got nasty to her.
Right.
And granted, she deserved the nastiness, but she's like socially awkward, didn't understand that what she was doing was weird.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe.
Right.
But, once the kids were nasty to her, that's when she was kind of like, you're just like your parents who mistreated me. But the reason she was partying with the kids wasn't because she was plotting to kill them.
It's just because she was lonely. Yeah.
And she wanted to get back at their parents and be like, see, now I'm the cool one.
Yes.
That was what it started from. So
these kids, though, Can we talk about these kids? Who the fuck in their right mind would want to go back over to some bitch's house who makes you strip, holding you at gunpoint?
Dude, that gun scene was so off the chain. I was laughing so hard when that happened.
Like, what the fuck was that shit?
So Ma just pulls out this gun out of nowhere and forces like the jockey kid, like the leader of the crew, to strip down to like past his underwear, just completely naked, holding him at gunpoint, and then she just starts cackling afterwards, like, gotcha, this gun isn't even loaded. It's like, lady, what the hell are we playing here? What kind of game is this? I am out.
But that's the whole movie, just that level of escalation,
right?
Going from like, okay, this is absurd, how can we make it that much more absurd?
Right.
And that being said, like, she told them, she's like, oh, this gun doesn't even work. And then later uses the gun.
But you know it works. I knew immediately that it was going to come back and she was going to kill somebody with it.
Cut and run, kids. Just get the fuck out of there. What are you doing?
In high school? Could you imagine that happening to any one of us?
Let me ask you a question. As I wasn't this kid in high school, but I'm sure you two were often looking for places to get drunk or high. If an old lady was the only refuge for you to get drunk and high at sophomore year, would you have done it? Honestly.
No.
Okay. Was it?
Maybe.
Were you that desperate?
Oh, maybe. No, I actually had a moment during the movie where I was kind of like, yeah, I might do that. Like, I actually thought about that. I was like, yeah, if you know, if I got to know this lady and she was, you know, being cool, maybe.
When I still cared about that sort of stuff, it was the easiest goddamn thing in the world to do it. You go into your basement, and you just get fucked up.
No, that's also true. That's also true. I don't think we ever had trouble finding a place.
Never. And you always know someone in your family who's or a friend who's old. Like you have a friend who has like an older brother or sister that is willing to help you out this way. It's not that fucking hard.
Right. It's not like your only course of action is the rocks in the middle of the desert.
It's ridiculous.
That's not the only place there is to go.
Yeah, the opening of the film of these kids having to ask strangers to buy alcohol for them outside the gas station was immediately like where they lose you, right?
Yeah, nobody's got an older brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's got like the weird cousin who's just like trying to gain points. Like nobody's got that dude.
I've never known anybody
like even
who
if,
did
if
that.
they like framed it like it was like a Catholic community or something,
right?
They could have like made some effort there,
right?
Like this isn't the 1950s or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
It's like that's not how things work now.
Right. Even Juliette Lewis, the mom, like she seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think like if you approached your mother and you were like, "Hey, mom, we really got nowhere else to go. You know, we just want to hang. I just want to have some friends over." Like, she would have been all right with you bringing a few beers around.
Of course.
You know, it's like maybe it's not like beer pong on like on naked girls' chests as this party wasn't like it's not that lit of a party, obviously. But you don't got to go to some creepy old lady in the middle of nowhere that you don't know to get to have a good time.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
I agree.
I want to talk about some. So, you should finish the plot. Go ahead, and then I have some quick notes on the movie.
Well, okay. I mean, I'll try to finish the plot. So, following this, she begins to sort of get very aggressive with the kids, sort of, you know, messaging them nonstop, meeting them in their homes, and she just begins to escalate all around. She's also been stealing jewelry from the kids and things like that.
Right.
And they notice this, so they try to break into her house to get their jewelry back, and that's when they find the daughter. And they find that not only is she the daughter of this woman, but she actually, earlier they believed she was a paraplegic, couldn't walk, and turns out that's a lie. Mm-hmm. And some of the parents find out about Ma, and they start confronting her and saying, "Back the fuck off from my kids," and everything, too. Including, we have this main character girl and her boyfriend, whose father is specifically the one who bullied Ma when she was younger.
Luke Evans. So Luke Evans, we should say specifically, led Ma to believe in this in like the 10th grade that he wanted her to give him a blowjob.
So
it's
he
like,
liked her,
yeah, so,
in general.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's a more eloquent way of putting it, I guess.
I mean,
fair enough.
I mean,
like, she was a unpopular kid he was very popular.
Right.
He led her to believe that he liked her.
Correct.
So she fell for it.
So she
And then
like
he invited her to a dark closet alone.
exactly. And turns out that was not him whose dick she was sucking. And like the whole class like just crowded around this one locker or this one closet and
They waited for her to step out and all laughed at her kind of thing.
right. So it was like a really intense form of hazing. So that is Luke Evans. That is his character.
Right.
See, that's another thing.
So-
Even that prank feels like something that's plucked out of a completely different generation.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever heard.
There is something about like the 80s, I think. Specifically the 80s, I think. Just people were cruel to each other. Like when it came to bullying, that was, I think, the worst decade.
Well, I also think too it's just different now. Technology has made it so much easier to bully in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more like subtle and, it's just like harassment on Instagram as opposed to then where it was just very physical and
But my understanding is also that like the largest amount of like binge drinking and alcoholism stems from the 80s.
oh, really?
Like high school, yeah, because there was a brief period of time where the drinking law was lowered and then raised again,
oh, word.
and it caused this weird thing where, and it's also like the same year, like, or it's the same decade when like Revenge of the Nerds came out and stuff. There's like a culture around it,
Yep.
I see.
and so I've read some articles about how like the largest amount of binge drinking that happened was in the 80s in colleges. So there is sort of this culture around that period of time
I got you.
that I don't think matches today.
No.
I got you. Okay.
It's a lot more acceptable to not drink at parties nowadays and stuff, even at our age,
Yeah. So that happens. And so Ma just goes on not a killing spree, but like a genital mutilation spree. And among
Yeah, she
other things.
kidnaps and drugs Luke Evans and ties him up in her bed.
Yeah.
This
Then
scene
she
was
injects him with dog blood.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
what that was, huh?
briefly
Well,
though.
from the dog. So she went to the main character girl's house and took blood out of the dog, and the dog got sick and almost died. And then she took that and she injected the dog blood into the guy and then slit his other wrist.
I didn't
So
understand.
that he would, well, it was so that he would lose blood and faint, but wouldn't die. Because he had blood coming in, too.
You're
Or not
gonna die
as
though.
fast.
It's
Not die
dog
as fast.
blood.
Not die as fast. It was some weird, yeah, I don't know what
Well,
she was.
she also said it just hit
Oh, yeah,
me.
you're right. She also said, that you're a dog.
You're not a man, you're a dog. And so you should be treated like a dog.
Okay.
Right.
Some weird psychotic shit.
And then she threatened to cut off his cock.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Offer, threat.
And I was
we
surprised
need-
at that close up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, oh my god, that's a dick.
Right, dick in hand.
Well,
Yeah.
Luke Evans not packing heat, by the way.
Are you,
As it turns out.
are you disappointed, Nico?
Yeah, it's more Hobbit size than I thought.
We still need to watch Bronson. I'm telling you.
Okay.
That hardy dick. That hardy dick.
It's a hardy dick, that hardy dick.
No, it's not. Oh god.
Yeah, so she does that, and then she like tortures the kids. She somehow gets the kids back into the
Well, she convinces all the kids to come over for a party again.
right.
Except for the main character girl. Mm-hmm. Main character girl finds out that her boyfriend is there, even though she told him not to go, so she goes. And what happens is Ma, like, spiked all the drinks and gets all the kids really, like, knocks them out.
Yep.
And they wake up, and Ma starts specifically doing things to each of them based on the caricature of those who bullied her. Mm-hmm. Or just based on them in general.
Yes.
She's
Kinda
like
weird.
the one kid's got perfect skin, so she
Perfect abs.
sears him with an iron to
On his
mess with
abs.
his perfect skin.
Yeah.
Right.
And for some reason, the black kid she decides to paint in whiteface.
I love this detail.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't
literally
understand
paints
that.
his face white. She said something about, like,
There can only be one of us.
only one of us or something, which is, like, I don't understand that kind of weird.
I don't think it made any sense.
He
I
was
was very
supportive of her. He wasn't, he was always like, yeah, we're both black. Like, we have something, like, he was, I don't know. I don't really understand where that came from.
But that was-
he was never really mean to her.
Well, that's a character detail for her that was not introduced until that very moment. So
Yeah.
it completely threw me off. I was like, whoa. You have an issue with the other token black person.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I
makes
don't know.
no
Maybe she
sense
was.
to me.
You know what? Maybe she was mad that he was hanging out with white kids.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird racial stuff though.
possibly.
There was, but they didn't really lean into it. They kind of like held back a little.
Yeah, they
on it.
only went half-ass with it.
There's not. This movie is not about race in any way, shape, or form.
No, but it hinted at
There's
it in
some
like in
tension.
a strange way. Yeah.
Sure.
tension, but I don't think it's about it.
No.
The popular girl, I couldn't.
Oh, that was
She
terrible.
sews her mouth shut
Yeah,
That's good
while
shit.
the girl's drugged and asleep. The boy, the son of the father who bullied her, and by the way, this kid is the nicest of the bunch.
Yes.
Right? Even though the father did the horrible thing to her, nicest of the bunch. Still not a great person, really. But nicest of the bunch, and she stabs him.
Great transition.
And then the main character girl, she tries to hang her.
Yeah.
And
Again, though, like, why? Why are you doing this stuff to these people?
She's mad. That's all.
mad.
That's it?
Ma's mad.
Ma is mad.
Ma mad, bro.
Yeah, mad
and
Ma.
then the only saving grace comes when Ma's daughter decides to retaliate, because these were the only girls that were nice to her ever. And she sees that Ma's trying to literally kill them. So she hits Ma with a frying pan, rescues them all.
Nothing funnier than someone getting hit in the head with a frying pan.
It's classic gag.
Classic.
It's a cartoon gag.
Much like how Michaela is hitting your cats right now with a frying pan in the background.
Sorry, my cat is scratching his litter box because he just took a shit. That's what that noise is.
Which one is it? Is
done.
it Puck or Leo?
It's Leo.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Fucking Leo. Not a fan of Leo.
DiCaprio or my cat?
Both.
Yeah, and then I mean, Ma shoots a cop.
Yeah, that
to death.
happens.
That happens. And the parents come and save the kids, and the kids save Ma's daughter, leaving Ma behind, and Ma decides the house starts catching on fire. That's a whole detail that doesn't really matter. And then Ma goes upstairs to lay and die next to the man who bullied her in high school, who is dead from blood loss on her bed.
And it ends in the exact same fashion as Halloween.
Yeah, it's literally. You didn't see the new Halloween, did you, Nick?
No, I would
It's
not
the
go out of
same
my way
ending.
to watch that.
It's the exact same ending.
Yes. Jamie Lee Curtis dies, then Michael Myers comes and lays next to her. And
No, that's not exactly
Not
right,
exactly.
but yes. Yeah.
What
it's-
a weird why. I've seen the original Halloween, so why would he do that?
Yeah.
ooh, they mirror the scene where that would make actually a lot of sense. That could have worked. That could have worked.
It also reminded me a little bit of the ending of Carrie, or towards it with the school catching on
Yeah,
fire.
kinda.
Yeah,
A
it
little
felt
bit.
kind of like that.
Except Carrie's a good movie.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Carrie on my ride home.
Is
I don't know if was the message "don't bully" or was the message "don't be a psychotic person"?
that was my problem with it. I was like, okay, the person who's being bullied is the villain. So
Right.
what are we supposed to take away from this movie exactly?
And like all the people who bullied her are like generally okay people.
Yeah.
At the end, like they're not.
Yeah, I always have a problem with those sorts of themes. I mean, it's a common recurrence of like, yes, the monster is a monster, but we're the one that created the monster. Like it's the movie sometimes tries to have its cake and eat it too, with like, yeah, Ma's terrible, but you should also kind of sympathize with her because a bad thing happened to her.
But you can't go extreme if that's where you're going to go, and if you can't go extreme, it's not going to be an interesting movie.
Sure.
In a lot of cases.
I think more so it's just trying to be a fun not blaxploitation, but exploitation movie, I should say, with a black protagonist. Like it's just sort of a silly horror movie.
It's complete. Like you're gonna forget about this film like 5 minutes after you see it.
Yeah, it's very disposable. It's a Blumhouse movie, so Jason Blum is like one of the most powerful men in Hollywood all of a sudden, and he did so. He gained this notoriety and built this horror empire just by giving a lot of money to like young, ambitious horror directors and making really cheap horror movies. Isn't he like responsible for the Paranormal Activities, Jason Blum?
I think he is.
The Insidious movies, I think he was
I
behind.
like the Insidious movies though.
The Insidious movies are actually legitimately good.
Yes.
Okay. And he also Happy Death Day is another one that came out recently.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's producing the Jordan Peele movies. So Blumhouse has sort of made a brand on these are cheap, not so critically acclaimed horror movies, but audiences like them. So we can make them on a really thin budget and people will see them. And this movie only cost $5 million and it's going to make about $50 million, I think, total. Yeah. It already made $30 million over like 2 weeks. So it's, movies like this, it's hard for them to fail.
Well, that's the real success in Hollywood. It's not about making good movies. It's about making movies that make money compared to what they cost.
Oh, horror movies is the easiest way to do it, though. You mean the newest Halloween is the highest grossing slasher film of all time. It beat out Scream.
And especially if you build a sort of like a little factory system where you could just pump them out.
Sure.
You got it. And then same with that's Adam Sandler's claim to fame, with he was making really cheap, pretty good comedy movies.
Yep.
And then he made offensively bad movies that are considered.
Well, the problem is he got too much money.
Well, people still see them though. People still watch them.
People do not see Adam Sandler movies
anymore. No, that's not true, dude. So Netflix did that 4-picture deal with him.
Yeah.
And Netflix, the head of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, I think that's his name, has said multiple times that is the best deal we've ever made.
What?
That is the most financially, it is by far and away the most financially successful deal we've made with any artist ever.
Fuck. That's nuts.
Well, think about what else they've done. They have Will Smith for Bright.
No, but Netflix gives a lot of money to auteur filmmakers. Like they're working with Martin Scorsese and they've worked with Alfonso Cuarón. And he to this day says, the Adam Sandler movies, as shitty as they may be, people watch them like crazy.
That's nuts.
And it's almost the perfect partnership, him and Netflix.
That's when Adam Sandler was good, was when he was making cheap movies with his buddies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just him and his friends. It didn't cost, he didn't have to pay him much, right? What his movies were like, what, 10 million budget, maybe at the most?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that, but not much.
And he'd come back with, maybe, I don't know, 50, 100 million after he got some notoriety.
Sure.
On like Happy Gilmore and some of those movies, right? So
it's weird that he's had the legs that he's had, though. Because, I mean, some of his later work is just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a brand that people embrace, though.
And he has a household name at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of like seeing a movie with The Rock in it. It's like you don't see the movie because I want to see The Rock performance. I go see the movie because I know what a Rock movie looks like.
Right.
So just because Adam Sandler in and of himself is a brand, right? So, what's the name of his production company? I'm forgetting.
Happy Madison.
Happy Madison. A Happy Madison movie is always going to be a Happy Madison movie. So if you like them, you will like the next one, certainly.
All right.
So, just real quick, back to Ma. A couple of quick little notes. Again, the fact that Allison Janney is in this is absolutely hysterical. When she says she's got that weird hairdo going on, she is the head of the veterinarian's office that Ma works at. When she goes, "So Ann, answer the fucking phone.
Answer the fucking..." Picks it up. That shit was too funny.
So funny. She is so overqualified for that performance. It's hilarious. Love Gay Stu.
Gay Stu
at the casino.
Oh, that motherfucker.
I'm Stu. I'm now your coworker. It just felt like a South Park caricature. It's like Big Gay Al. It's the exact same character.
Gay Stu. What a name. I'm Gay Stu.
And the fact that they bring Stu back at the end of the movie to like check out Ma's house and make sure the kids are okay. It's like, why is Stu involved in this?
It's like, don't kill Gay Stu. Leave Gay Stu alone.
I like that he was just so pivotal to the plot.
Yeah. Incredible.
That's great.
Incredible.
This movie's just ridiculous.
Loved when Octavia Spencer got to do some kung fu action.
Oh my god, the kung fu!
When she kicked over the cans, the soda cans, the beer cans.
Chopped the shit out of those cans.
Another one of the biggest laughs I had in the movie. If anything, I wish that they let Octavia Spencer go further with it. I wish that they let her be crazier. It's almost too good of a performance out of her, because I actually think that she's pretty good in this movie with as little as she's given to work with.
Yeah, I agree.
It's almost like the movie was self-aware, but she wasn't self-aware. So she did like her normal Octavia Spencer thing and tried to make her character credible, when this would have been a good excuse to just do her Nicolas Cage vampire's kiss thing and go way over the top. And they didn't let her do that.
Well, here's the thing. Nicolas Cage should have played Ma.
Oh, that's not bad.
Call me Ma. Just imagine Nicolas Cage
play
voice.
The song Echo. Echo, stop.
Can Can you imagine Nicolas Cage just like, oh, call me Ma? It's just like, I'm just imagining that voice.
He did do a movie called Mom and Dad last year.
Did he?
Yes. And it's about parents that try to kill their kids.
What?
Yeah, that might be next on the list for us.
Oh my God.
Mom and Dad. Yeah, I might have to do that.
Yeah, I think so.
He was in a Paul Schrader film recently called, I think, Dog Eat Dog,
Yes.
which I have not seen.
I have not seen it either.
Apparently, it's awful.
Really?
Yeah, but
Okay,
we
maybe
should
we do that then.
we should also do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which movie?
Dog Eat Dog, written and directed by Paul Schrader, starring Willem Dafoe and Nicolas Cage.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, me
Everything
too.
I need. Yeah, I guess that's. Oh, I love that.
And that's Ma, right?
Ma had a car freshener that had the words horse scents written on it. So like her air freshener is like is the smell of horses.
Horses smell so good.
Why do they make that? Why is that air freshener available?
That is the worst idea I have ever heard.
Like who wants the smell of horses in their car?
All I'm thinking of is people take showers after they come home from the beach.
Smell that. I'm talking about the beach.
The beach?
We're quoting Seinfeld. Nick, don't worry about it.
It's all right. No, it's I understand the joke at least. And it's a good joke.
Someone's gonna make that crap?
So good. And then they steal his idea.
It's so great. Yo, we got a patent horse now. We gotta make
Horse scents.
horse sense,
We
baby.
gotta do it. The smell of horses. Rotten hay and manure. That's great. That'll give you the new car smell you desire.
Is that horse you're wearing?
By Armani?
By Sarah Jessica Parker.
Incredible.
I love it.
All right. I think that's it for Ma.
Yeah,
That's Ma.
no, it's fine.
Fun
Happy
movie.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
Now for your main attraction.
Oh, the coup de grace.
For your headliner, ladies and gentlemen. You came here to see it. And here she is.
Mother!
Mother! Exclamation point.
We're back, Nico.
We're back. Who thought we'd be back this soon?
Back in this shit.
Adam and I did a storied podcast. I would say it goes down in Too Many Thoughts lore about Mother. It was like an hour and a half long.
It's partially because we talked about Kinsman, but we talked about it for all of like 5 minutes.
Okay. I can't believe you remember that.
Yep.
We talked about Kingsman on that same podcast?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, we did that podcast. Have you listened to it recently?
Yes.
Have you? Oh, I wish I went back and listened.
Yes, I did actually.
Because I want to remember what my thoughts were. I might have changed my mind since then.
You liked it.
No shit.
You liked it actually quite a bit. Your response was, Adam, I fucking love this movie. What is wrong with a movie that stirs the pot a little and gets people talking? And to which I responded to you as, no, Nico, this movie's fucking stupid.
Yes, it is.
That sounds like about right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah. So Nick, much like actually it was not like your experience, but I saw Ma by myself at the movies with no one in the theater with me in the middle of the day.
What do you do with that? I'm actually trying to picture myself having that experience. Because here's the thing about this movie. I had to step away for breaks.
Right.
And you can't do that in a theater.
No. And I did not.
I had to.
Oh, man.
I like walked out in the other room and I like tasted cookies and like, I needed some peace in my life for a moment.
You saw like some pictures of puppies or you watch fat people falling or something like that.
Just to
Fat
remind you
people
about the
falling
fonder
into
things in life. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, that was uncomfortable. So here's the other thing, right? I had heard all this hype around what Mother is.
There was
I never
hype?
knew what yeah. I never knew what the plot was, but I had heard like one sentence descriptions of what it is. I've heard like Christian torture porn.
Yes.
That's one I heard a lot.
That sounds accurate, yeah.
I actually think I heard that from you, Nico, or something similar.
Okay.
And so I'll be honest, I was expecting this movie to be a lot more lewd, I guess. A lot more, you know,
Like,
I guess
surreal?
dirty, inappropriate, like sexual. And it wasn't at all, which I'm happy it wasn't, actually, because I don't think I could have handled that extra level of uncomfortableness.
It's a fever dream of a movie, though.
However, the movie does stop short of rape, I would say. Like, it does everything but rape to Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I know.
So, so I guess, like, there's no sexual element, but in terms of just, like, mental and emotional abuse, and at
in
times
terms of
physical abuse
in general.
Yeah, it does go for it there. Which, and I think we discussed this on the podcast when we first did it. This is, by the way, from 2017. That's when Mother came out, and we did a movie hopping podcast right after its release.
Well, we'll probably link it up in the video if you're watching on YouTube, which please do.
Yeah,
it's worth hearing our thoughts on that too.
Yeah, I'll put the link in. So Jennifer Lawrence started dating Darren Aronofsky, the director of this movie, after making it. Which is like, and it's weird because the movie is like semi-autobiographical, and like Aronofsky draws from like his own relationships in the past. I think he was just going through a divorce when he started doing this movie, and he met Jennifer Lawrence. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like a relationship born out of weird means. I'm not saying like, obviously they're no longer together. But I just found it very odd that Darren Aronofsky tortures Jennifer Lawrence for 2 hours on screen, and then they just like start a healthy and happy relationship together. It just felt very weird to me.
You didn't like seeing her go through this at all, did you?
Is it possible to enjoy it?
Well, there's some funny parts to it.
There are not. There are legitimately not.
We'll get to one moment in particular, which I've cited on the other podcast before, that made me gut bust laugh in the theater when it happened.
Yeah.
No, there's not a single moment where I was amused.
Yes, there. Oh, there 100% is. There 110% is a moment where I am just on the floor laughing because it's so fucking ridiculous.
Dinner time.
That was not funny. That was incredibly uncomfortable.
Do we have to get? Are we going to build up to that, or do I have to tell my story?
Yeah, just to tell your story. Go ahead.
So, of course, this movie is going along all normal and fine.
Actually, no. Let's save it. Let's have Nick explain the plot.
Okay.
But I don't want you to like go through the beats. Like, I don't care about the specific characters. I want you to talk about it as an allegory. Like, talk about it in the biblical sense.
Well, that's the problem with this movie.
That's what it is.
Okay.
This is... the story is some weird attempt at the Bible. That's what it is.
Right.
How do I get into this, really? Okay, so,
it is the New Testament. That's all it is.
Well, it's not just the New Testament.
Yes.
It's Genesis. It's heavily Genesis.
Yeah, there's a lot of Genesis.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Old Testament, Adam.
The Old Testament.
Have you read a Bible?
Old Testament, I apologize.
Well, then there's the New Testament.
There's a little bit of New Testament, too.
minutes.
There's some holy war in there.
It sort of like goes all throughout the Bible.
Yeah, there's some holy war.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Crucifixion of Jesus, all that shit.
It's just the Bible at that point.
So, each of these characters in this film, generally speaking, especially at the beginning when there's only a few characters to deal with, has a very specific role, a very specific, they are this person in the Bible, essentially. But we'll start out with the main two, really. Jennifer Lawrence is... I had a really hard time pinpointing exactly what she was, especially at the beginning. Because she shifts at one point from one character to another, because towards the end, she's obviously like a Mother Mary figure. But that's not what she is at the beginning.
No.
And that's certainly not what she is at the very end, either.
She's Mother Mary, Virgin Mary. She is... Eve
No, she is not.
Well, kinda.
No, she's not.
No, you're right. She's not.
Eve.
No, you're right. Michelle Pfeiffer's Eve. I apologize for that.
She's absolutely... He calls her... I specifically wrote a note on this because I was trying to figure out what she was. And towards the beginning, but at the point where it's very obvious that this is a biblical allegory, he calls her goddess.
Okay.
And so to me, she is like she is God as well, but just like a different aspect of him. And there is sort of like a lot of talk about like the Old Testament God versus the New Testament God. Old Testament God was very angry and stuff, and the New Testament God is all about love and forgiveness. So I'm wondering if she represents one of those versus the other.
Honestly.
And then she becomes the Mother Mary, and then at the end, I don't even know what the hell she is anymore.
Honestly.
She's Armageddon.
She's... the movie is just that on the nose. I just think she's Mother Earth.
Yeah, I thought this.
And I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was one of my thoughts too, with Mother Earth as well. So I mean, it's called Mother.
I know.
But here's the thing: is like the movie is presented in the strange, ambitious way. It's interesting filmmaking, kind of. But I remember watching it and thinking, like, no matter how I decipher this, I always come back to the same conclusions, and it always leads me to think like this is just a biblical allegory, almost nothing else.
Well, and that's kind of what I didn't. So I'll be completely frank. I was uncomfortable the entire way through, but I liked the movie at the beginning when it was subtle.
Mm-hmm. There's a weird sense of dread at the beginning that I actually kind of like. And
the less subtle it got, the worse it got.
Yeah, I remember responding to the filmmaking too, and
I don't love the film.
Yeah, no, in an interesting way though. I know you didn't like the overuse of close-ups. I remember you saying that specifically.
God, I fucking hated
like,
that.
it's just sort of visually dull in that way for you. But I enjoyed sort of the sense of place, the staging of it. I liked the house. I liked the sense of dread. I didn't hate Jennifer Lawrence's performance. I know you weren't particularly keen on it, if I remember correctly.
Didn't love it.
I kind of liked her. I kind of liked Javier. I really liked Michelle Pfeiffer. I thought she was going for it in a really interesting way. And so, yeah, I did respond to it at first. I think you're right. The more overt it gets in the biblical allegory, the worse it gets. But that's
part of me
the point,
does,
though, is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, part of me does like towards the end how it does get like absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Like, it is kind of interesting.
Yes.
But I'm not sure it makes it better.
It's more interesting to like tell people about, like, yo, this fucking thing happened in this movie. But when you actually sit down and experience the thing,
It's just terrible. It's a terrible experience.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to give it a pass. Like, that's the point. It's like, okay, your point was to make me just hate the film.
Well, but your point was to it was for shock. It was to provoke.
Because nothing else. Because the point here's actually I think we might have just identified something here. Because this movie is, like you said, just a biblical allegory, and it can't be interpreted any other way. And those are a dime a dozen now. Like so it's not particularly creative.
No.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, in plot sense, but this is this being just a biblical allegory it wasn't trying to say anything about religion.
No.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
That's the problem, right? So it's a biblical allegory that didn't have a point. It didn't have a statement. It just was a biblical allegory.
Yes.
Or if it did, it was kind of a cynical.
Right, exactly. It's like religion is bad and you're stupid.
And I said that in our original review. This is a hateful fucking movie.
Right.
And
it has a point, it's a stupid point.
It's very self-centered. I remember thinking, like, this only belongs to Darren Aronofsky. It should never have left his shelf.
Right.
To be clear, this feels like a movie that was not made for audiences.
No.
It was made for the director.
Yeah. Well, it was also written in like 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the other thing.
But this feels like a movie that he made for himself, not for anyone else.
It was a little
totally
experiment.
Feels that way.
It was a little screenwriting exercise for him. This was not meant to be a mass-produced movie with one of the biggest stars in Hollywood at the center, just getting beaten senselessly. It's like, no, man. There should not be a Hollywood Scarlet at the center of this movie. That's not how movies are supposed to work.
Which is funny because since this, I mean, what has Jennifer Lawrence really been up to?
I think she took some time off.
Yeah.
I think is what happened. No, if I remember correctly, the press tour for this was very toxic. People did not respond to the movie well. It's what chipped away at Aronofsky and hers relationship in many ways. Like, he was so obsessed with the criticism of the movie, and she just wanted to stay away from it. Because clearly Jennifer Lawrence has gone through the ringer on this stuff. Like, has had terrible things said about her in the press and horrible details leaked about her personal life. So I think she just took a break from acting for a second, and it's like, I'm just going to sit back and wait for my next move.
Yeah.
And so I think she basically did Red Sparrow right afterwards. And yeah, she hasn't, she's in Dark Phoenix still. She's in those X-Men movies, but I think, she's going to take some time before she does another starring role. Mm-hmm. Which I understand. This has got to be like a brutal movie to go through.
The Hunger Games were very wildly popular, and then being thrust into this, that is a lot.
And I admire like an actress being like, I just want to break out and do something that people, that'll make it so people won't see me as this other character. Like it's nice that they want to try that sometimes, but every once in a while, if you go too far with it, it can just be damaging to yourself. And I think that's kind of what happened here.
I think it's what happened to Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I think Tom Cruise made really interesting work, and then he decided to make Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
And in '99, and like that movie, from all accounts, destroyed Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise's marriage. Yeah. And I think like he was a huge movie star and was doing awesome movie star movies and like interesting character work too. And then he does this crazy, perverse Stanley Kubrick movie. And since then, he's only done Mission Impossible stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know, and I think like that scared him.
Or movies in the same exact vein.
Yeah, he got too close to the edge on that. He went one step down the rabbit hole too far.
True.
And I think
there's also all the Scientology.
Well, okay.
That doesn't help.
Excellent point. Doesn't help. But I got to imagine, like, this movie probably required Jennifer Lawrence to go to a dark place. Mm-hmm. And I can imagine as, like, a young lady who was thrown into superstardom very early on in life, too. She's not that old. Having to deal with that. I understand why Mother was not great for those involved.
No.
Can we also, I want to take a little bit of a weird, twist outside of this movie for a second.
Okay.
In a similar vein, talking about Kit Harington with what he's going through right now.
Oh, yeah.
God, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Because I didn't really put this together until I was reading an article about it, and it never really occurred to me that Kit, like, because I'm 23 years old, you're all 23 or 24, and Kit Harington was 22 when he started on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Just fresh out of, like, acting school.
Yeah.
And through the formative years of his life, slowly becomes the most important character in the show, in the biggest show of like all time, pretty much.
Becomes a heartthrob.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes.
In his formative years, he's 32 now or 33.
And also, by the way, like it's like Macy Williams, for example, I think had like an incredibly healthy relationship with Game of Thrones, and that fans loved her. She was allowed to be a child on that show and was not really subject to the sort of the magnifying glass that a lot of adult actors had to deal with. But I think specifically with Kit Harington and Emilia Clarke, they were the most heavily criticized actors on that show.
Oh, yeah. She was a little older, right? Isn't she a little older?
Not much older. They're about the same age.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in her early 20s when she did all those nude scenes, for sure. Let me pull up the age real quick here. Emilia Clarke was born in 86. So that makes her 33 right now?
32,
33. So yeah, 11 years ago, she would have been 21, 22.
Yeah, that's just wild. I mean, and so really, I think it's good when actors, and like Jennifer Lawrence here even, I mean, to a lesser degree, but they know to step away. I think that's, a good thing.
And that's what Kit Harington is doing now, right? He's in rehab.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right. I mean, and here's the thing about it. He self-entered rehab for just because he needed it. And he's just like, he wasn't like, oh, somebody told me I had a problem or anything.
Right.
He probably, frankly, didn't even have a problem as bad as some people out there.
Sure.
He's just being safe.
And people were saying like, the last like Game of Thrones party or something like that, or one of the last parties he was at, like he was drinking all non-alcoholic beers, and and he's also just trying to take time to just like figure out his life.
Sure.
And so it's
the Hollywood machine is tough, man.
Yeah, you can appreciate. If you actually pay attention, and the people who don't appreciate and who are just like, oh, why aren't they doing more movies, or I hate it. Those people.
It's exhausting.
Why doesn't Emilia Clarke pose nude more in Game of Thrones?
Oh my God!
It's like, why doesn't this young woman show her tits more so men can jerk off to it? It's like, dude, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
it's just people can be vicious, man.
It's out there for millions of eyes.
Yeah, man. Just the Hollywood, and also fans too. The fan community can be vicious, and they don't even realize it.
When you have
said this
platform,
100,000 times, the fans are the worst part of every fandom.
Oh God, yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, it's because it's not out of love; it's out of like deep ownership and
it's obsession.
It's obsession.
Well, thank God we're not Aronofsky fans, I guess.
Darren Aronofsky.
I'm not like an opponent of him either, though, is the thing.
Let's play a game, Adam.
Yes.
How many Darren Aronofsky movies do you think Nick has seen?
Okay.
Over, under, I'm setting at half.
Half.
Are you going over or under? Besides Mother.
I think I'm going over.
You're going over. All right, Nick, I will read the movies for you right now. These are Darren Aronofsky's the entire filmography.
That's right. It's Nick.
Okay. You're going over a half.
Yes.
Noah. 2014. Noah.
Have you seen it?
Which one is that?
With Russell Crowe.
About Noah.
I don't
and
think
Noah's
so.
Ark. Okay. Black Swan.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh!
I was like, it's got to be Black Swan.
The wrestler.
Although I think it's fair to say a half for Black Swan because
That's fine.
I fell asleep halfway through.
The wrestler.
No.
The Fountain.
No.
Requiem for a Dream.
No.
Good.
Pi.
Pie?
Yeah.
Or The Life of Pi?
P.I. No,
I'm just
Pi.
kidding. No.
All right. Well, you've seen one Darren Aronofsky movie then.
Black Swan's, if you told me that this is the same guy who made Black Swan, that would have made a lot more sense getting into it, actually.
Oh, yeah. But
That's
see,
a
Black
crazy
Swan
movie.
is fun. I love
mean,
Black
it's-
Swan.
I do
It's
too.
a shit ton of fun. It's a trip, but it's like a worthwhile trip. Like, oh my,
I want to watch that again, actually, and really watch it all the way through.
really good. And then The Wrestler is the most beautiful film ever made.
Love The Wrestler. Mickey Rourke is incredible in that movie.
And then Requiem for a Dream is the ugliest film ever made.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a hard one to watch.
You
huh?
have no fucking idea. That
Is that a Why
movie,
Is This a Thing film?
that movie, like when you were doing Kill Me-a-thon, you should have added that one.
Oh,
Hey,
Jesus.
maybe we can do a Darren Aronofsky month.
That movie is traumatizing. It's almost more traumatizing than this.
Wow.
I might go to say it is, actually.
Crazy.
Should we talk more about this movie a little bit now?
I just want, so I guess, I want to hear specifically your thoughts on specific moments. So like, go to your notes. Tell me like, what were the moments that stood out to you?
Well, so again, like I said, at the beginning, I actually liked piecing together that this was a biblical story and figuring it out when it was subtle. You know, pretty early on, I caught on that like, okay, these two are Adam and Eve. Their sons are Cain and Abel. The little stone from the house is the forbidden fruit.
Yes.
His office is specifically Eden. At one point, when the Cain figure kills his brother and leaves, and this is really one of the moments that really sunk it in for me. It wasn't the killing his brother because that's obvious, but when he said he's gone into the wilderness, that wording is specifically from Genesis.
Okay.
Like God sent Cain into the wilderness
Okay.
to fend for himself.
Oh, stupid.
Yeah,
Because
that
I
kinda
knew
and
these
I
things
think that
watching
was
it too.
I think that was about the tipping point where I'm like, okay, you're getting a little on the nose here, right? And it just slowly becomes like this. Here's the thing about here's the parts that made me uncomfortable, believe it or not, or maybe you'll believe it, I don't know. The real most uncomfortable part of this movie was just watching this woman who just wanted to be alone in her house that she spent years repairing. And just other people coming in and just completely disrespecting her space, breaking things, just generally being rude, not cleaning up. That just made me uncomfortable.
It made me uncomfortable too.
And it's like, it's not something that you would expect would make you uncomfortable watching a film. Like if somebody told me, oh, you want to watch a film about people, you know, coming into somebody's house and making a mess,
Well,
like I wouldn't think that
Watch
would make
Gremlins.
me... Yeah, but like that doesn't make you uncomfortable. Not even close.
Well, I
right?
once compared this movie to Gremlins, and you all gave me so much shit for it. But
wouldn't call
that
it-
is the plot of Gremlins.
Yeah, that's the one detail you're willing to mine from it. Give me a break.
Well, but then and slowly, like, you know, so first it's just this guy lets the Adam and Eve figures come in the house and stay there, and she's like, I don't want them here. And Javier, who is God,
Yeah.
Okay, here's the problem.
Yeah.
Is he God or is he not God?
He's fucking
God.
God.
So he is God.
Yes.
God.
The problem with this movie is, if I recall correctly, there's so much backwards logic here. So God is the one that welcomes all of these people into the house to rape and pillage the Mother Earth character.
Yes.
So it's like, are we led to believe that God is complicit in the sins of the
and
world?
this is one of the problems of when I was trying to identify who she was, and this is why I say she plays different characters throughout the arc,
It's true.
because it's very weird and confusing that way. But you know, the idea is, and frankly, actually, a lot of the things in this movie change roles, because at the beginning of this film, just the house in general is Eden,
Right.
and then later, just his office becomes Eden, and then later his office becomes, I guess, Jerusalem. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm being serious. Like,
You're right. You're 100% right.
just things are constantly shifting as the Bible is shifting, and that's fine actually, because the Bible does a lot of stuff like that too. right? I mean, it has a lot of allusions back to previous things in itself.
I just found his specific characterization to be inconsistent.
Well, yeah, I think, but again,
Which is one of the main flaws of the movie, I think, is that it just doesn't know what it wants to say about Christianity. Or
right, it doesn't really have anything to say.
Yeah, or if it does have something to say, it's just... Because here's the thing, Darren Aronofsky is a Christian, he's like a...
Yeah, he's spiritual.
He's an avid churchgoer, I think.
Yeah.
So it's sort of weird. He is both mocking his own religion, but also paying homage to it. But it doesn't feel like it's satirical or witty. It just feels like I'm bashing it for the sake of bashing it.
Well, my take on it when I first saw it, because I was aware of this, and you can feel it in his movies with how spiritual he actually is, and I just thought, like, he accepts it for everything that it is. He just fucking hates it,
Right.
and it's a really bleak,
Tough pill to swallow.
yeah. It's like, why would you want to make that movie, and why would you want to sit through it?
Right.
Right.
It's just like, what the? It's sort of fucked up.
It is. It is.
So.
And I remember you listened to the podcast, but I think I said at one point I liked the depiction of the relationship between man and God
And
as resembling a toxic romantic relationship.
And I didn't like that.
And I thought that was an interesting idea to play with.
That was one of the things that I did sort of take away, was maybe the movie was trying to say, it was actually trying to make us look at the way that we look at religion and realize maybe it's not healthy.
Right.
Yes.
Just like an abusive relationship, just like in a marriage that's emotionally
And if
draining.
that's what he was trying to say, then he probably could have hit that nail a few more times.
But you were making the point about how the relationship with God is troubling, and it requires a lot of hard work, and it's frustrating, and it's all these other things. And my response to that was like, have you ever talked to a Catholic?
Okay.
That is Catholicism.
Okay.
In a nutshell. Everyone you could ever talk to about what it's like to be a Catholic is it fucking sucks.
Right.
It's hard, and you're punished for it, and it doesn't make any sense at times, but somehow you do it anyway.
Sure.
That's my dad's upbringing.
Right.
and I'm just like, I just feel like people get that, and I feel like we get it even more so.
So you thought it was putting a little too fine a point on it.
It's like, yeah.
This movie.
I walked away from it and it's like, are you treating this as if I've never heard this before?
Yeah.
I know this pretty acutely, actually.
Sure.
So
Thought it was a little too cute and clever.
And I just said after that, I was like, no, I don't think the movie's very smart at all. It's kind of stupid for that reason.
How'd you react when they ate the baby, Nick?
Oh, yeah. They ate the baby.
So, I mean,
This pissed me off.
the whole movie is her saying, no, please don't do this, and him ignoring her and doing it anyways.
Yes.
She finally has a baby, and time is also a very wonky thing in this film, right? I mean, she's pregnant and has the baby within a matter of days.
I have to say though, the scene where he's just waiting for her to fall asleep is glorious.
Great
That's
filmmaking.
uncomfortable.
Really well done.
Yes.
Really well
The
done.
key word.
Could not agree more.
Yes.
So she has this baby, and he says, like, give me the baby, it's my baby. And she goes, no, I'm its mother. You don't get to touch it, because he hasn't been listening to her. And he's like, he wants to bring the baby outside to all the people. And we should really talk about how we got here.
By the way, Nico, do you see where the Rosemary Babies parallel fall in?
Okay, got it.
I'm going to go through some stages. I'm going to go through some stages. First, we have Adam and Eve in the house, right, essentially. And then we have Adam and Eve's children, Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. And then more family comes to the house to have a funeral, essentially, for Abel, who died. And eventually, she finally convinces him to get them out of the house. And they all leave, after they wreck everything.
After they bomb each other.
We have to point out
No, we
that-
haven't gotten there yet. No,
okay.
She got Adam and Eve and those people out of the house.
Oh, I see. Got it.
And then there was a lot of tension about her wanting a baby and stuff. And so she gets pregnant, and they're going to have a baby, and he's suddenly finally inspired to write again. He's a writer, he's a poet, and he's been having trouble writing. So he's finally inspired to write again because she's pregnant.
Right.
And he writes, and the book or the poem immediately gets published, and everybody loves it, and suddenly reporters and fans start just attacking the house, essentially, and all of a sudden it goes from 5 people to thousands of people invading this house. His publisher comes, and her credit in the film is Harold, like a angel, Harold.
Played by Kristen Wiig, by the way.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig.
Who begins shooting people in the face.
Funniest shit ever.
And so all of it becomes like, at first, like all these people like, oh, we're fans, we wanted to learn more about this. And then all of a sudden it just slowly becomes like this weird cultish thing where, he's like rubbing markings on their faces to like bless them. And then people start stealing things from the house, and Jennifer Lawrence is yelling for them to stop. And they're like, I need something that was his. And then he's no longer in the picture, and other people are doing the spreading of the good word. It becomes a religion. And then all of a sudden, people are invading and attacking. It becomes violent. We come across Kristen Wiig, and she's like, they're literally kidnapping people, putting bags over their head and shooting them. And then people just break in. You have soldiers coming in, bombing the place, fire, explosions, hellfire. It just becomes holy war, literally.
Yes.
But can I just say that when you
Kevin Durant down with injury again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, and this is about 90 minutes into the film when this starts.
This is the problem that I was having with this movie, is that this idea really could have worked if they wanted to stretch it out for like 3 hours. And I'm not, because I remember
I was not willing to watch this for 3 hours.
No. And that's the thing. I would no. And I agree. Yes. But I remember thinking to myself, like, I am the jump from uber fandom to let's shoot these people in the head is one of the most jarring film experiences I've ever had, and it takes me right out of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
and she's fully pregnant at this point.
Yes.
And people are literally abusing her and stuff. She finally manages her husband
beating her. Oh no, they beat her after they eat the baby, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Her husband manages to get her into the office, which he has holed off. Mm-hmm. And she has the baby. And again, he wants to like go out and show the baby to them. And she's like, no, this is where we are. That's how we get here. And he's just sitting there staring at her, waiting for her to fall asleep so he can take the baby. And if I remember correctly, she does fall asleep.
Yes, she does.
And suddenly wakes up, probably only a few moments later, realizing the baby's gone. She goes out and she's like, where's the baby? Because he doesn't have it. And you see all of these thousands of people just holding the babies over their head.
Baby crowd surfing.
And this is absolutely just awful to watch.
Okay.
Right?
Can I tell you about my experience with this?
This was terrible, Adam. There was nothing
No.
redeeming.
Okay. You'll like this, I think. So
You're such an asshole. You're so funny. Go ahead.
So I'm watching this movie, and at this point, I'm in and out of the movie. I know what the fuck's going on, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. A few screws have come loose in my head, and I am losing my mind. So,
As you do.
Yeah, frequently.
When watching Mother.
I thought I was high. I thought like someone had pumped in drugs. I'm like, what am I? Was I just kidnapped? Is that why I'm in this movie theater by myself? Clockwork Orange style? Like, what the hell is happening
At this point, it's such a fucking mess that I'm kind of transported by it.
Yes.
However, we get to the point where the baby is crowd surfing. It's pissing out of fear.
Correct.
And they're
and it's crying, and that crying is just horrible,
screeching
to
horribly.
To.
And to make it, just to make it a little more, just tasty, they accidentally break the baby's neck. The baby is
Which
dead.
was very jarring, if I remember correctly.
Well, it's a newborn, and they're not holding it up properly. They strip the blankets off of it so it doesn't have any support.
Yeah.
And then she runs up into the crowd to find it, and you just see like a cadaver of like what was. It looks like a hunk of fucking pig.
Yeah. And let me
slaughtered.
Let me keep
everybody's just munching on it.
Let me add to my experience just a little bit more. So yeah, my jaw is pretty much on the floor when this baby dies. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. She goes to look for the baby. She sees the cadaver, and we cut to a shot of of the entire crowd feasting on the baby. And I burst out laughing in the theater. I yell out into the theater. I'm being loud. Everybody can hear me because this is the jump from we want this baby to we want to eat this baby is so funny. It's so absurd and ridiculous and stupid. And I think a lot of it is due to the fact that I knew what Aronofsky was doing. So in my head, I'm like, I'm not letting you get this one up on me.
Right.
Fuck you, Aronofsky. This is funny to me.
Right. Yeah, we get it. You're doing communion.
Yes.
We understand.
What's even worse about it too is like it's this horrible disservice to Christianity
and community,
because that's not what it is. They didn't like eat him like a corpse. It's fucking stupid.
I said the exact same thing.
Like Jesus had a Last Supper with his bros.
Yes.
And he's like, guys, every time you have dinner like this with the bros, I want you to think of me because I'm gonna die. That's what it's about. It's not like, yo, eat my flesh, boy.
It's not obsession.
Yes.
It's not comic book guy obsession.
Yes.
Right.
I said the same thing when we were
It's
talking
a
about it the
horrible
first time.
disservice to like, and if this guy really is religious, because I thought he was just like an atheist piece of shit when I was watching this. That's what and I'm not saying atheists are piece of shit. I'm saying some atheists like him.
But it's a complete misunderstanding of the Bible and communion.
Right. It's
I was
a lack
like,
of understanding.
that is not what it's about.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, and to me, it's pretty obvious what it's about in the Bible, but he completely missed the mark. And I was kind of annoyed because I had the same thought. It's like, okay, like you can criticize the Bible all you want, but this is actually a really interesting message and one that people can take a lot away from. And he completely shat all over it.
Yeah, that was one of the worst parts because I will say the beginning with his representation of Genesis was very interesting.
Yes.
It was, I didn't like it, but it was done well.
Yes.
I think it made me uncomfortable, but I think that was the point at the time. And then at the end, it stopped being, let's make you uncomfortable, let's say a message about the Bible. It became shock value and misinterpretations. Mm-hmm. You know, and it really falls apart at the end.
Oh my God, yeah.
Really does. And so obviously this, you know, she loses her baby. So, right.
She lost the baby.
I think you made that clear.
I lost the baby.
So in
The
reaction,
dingo took her baby.
in
The
reaction,
dingoes ate her fucking baby.
that works too well. So she grabs a shard of glass and she begins stabbing everybody because that's what you do.
Sure.
When a crowd of loons eats your baby in your house.
Yeah.
And then they take it away from her and they start beating the shit out of her.
And this is uncomfortable for an entirely different reason from the rest of the film.
God.
This is the absolute actual torture of Jennifer Lawrence here. They're just beating her. It's very vivid.
Yes.
Way more than it needed to be.
You know what I hated about that scene? There's a little nip slip in there.
Yeah, that's the only scene where they do that, and it's
and I just hate the fact that like my masculine impulses took over, and I'm like, wait a minute, did I just see a boob there?
Yeah.
No,
Did
but
you see Jennifer Lawrence's boob?
I actually kind of think there was purposeful.
Maybe
It was meant to be like, you know, this is the only time you're going to see that, and it's going to be amid this horrible experience.
Right. I'm not saying it was a sexy scene by any means.
No. It's like your subconscious impulse versus what am I actually watching? This is terrible.
So Nico's emotional roller coaster here is like, oh my God, no, nipple, nipple.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what my experience was watching the movie. It's exactly right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And she manages to get out because Mr. God comes to save her.
Mr. God.
Excuse me, Mr. God.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie center of a Tootsie Pop?
See, you guys are able to have fun with this. No, you're able to have fun with this because you're not tortured by it because you didn't just watch it.
Oh yeah, it is
Sorry,
a distant memory. I can look back on it fondly, like that time I got pantsed in the 8th grade. You know what I mean? It's just like a distant memory.
Yeah.
And then
One day we'll all be able to look back at Mother and laugh about it, Jennifer Lawrence included.
Nick, it is just a movie.
It's just a movie.
It's just
Nick.
a movie.
yeah. Well, and then this is when she takes on the role. She stops being Mother Mary and she starts being, assuming the role of the apocalypse, I guess, right? Or the angel of death or some sort of end times figure. And she burns the house to the ground. And then it becomes, and this is just another big middle finger as far as I'm concerned, it becomes this cyclical thing because we learn that she was rebuilding this house from scratch because it had burned down when he was younger, and she was building it just the way he wanted it. And the movie even opens up with a house of like embers and ash slowly turning back into like beautiful color.
Yes.
And as Javier, this god character, puts that gemstone, the forbidden fruit thing, on the pedestal, that's when the house comes back. And after she burns the house down, he rips open her chest and takes out her heart, and it's that gem.
Yes.
And the cycle starts again with a different person instead of Jennifer Lawrence.
It is so on the nose, it makes me sick.
Vomit.
Yes.
That was my reaction at that. That's when I wrote "fuck this movie" exactly on that piece of paper.
What do we learn?
Nothing. There's nothing to learn. It's just, I'm just gonna do it again.
We learned don't date Darren Aronofsky. That's what we learned.
Love it.
Ain't
love
that
it.
the truth?
Stay away.
Yeah, in this movie, I think it had potential.
Sure.
And I think if he didn't write it in 5 days, maybe it could have been good. Maybe if he took some time and actually thought about it and realized, this is lazy writing and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have a priest read it over. You know, just,
Have a priest.
read the draft. What do you think? Oh, you really misinterpreted everything.
Want to do a little punch up, Father? A little punch up on the dialogue here.
But seriously, I mean, the fact
Come
that he
over
wrote
here,
this in
Darren.
5 days, and the fact that it became public knowledge that he wrote this in 5 days, like, he shouldn't have been bragging about that.
I know.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't good.
Especially when you listen to him talk about the movie, it's just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, I'm with you. I think at first I sort of appreciated how big of a swing it was. Like, I always ride for a movie like that just sort of goes for it and that stirs conversation. But I think the more I've thought about it, and I think you convinced me of this more than anyone else, Adam, it just felt like lazy provocation. It didn't feel like intellectual provocation. Yes. And I think there's a difference.
Yes.
Like what South Park does is intellectual provocation. Like they're trying to offend you for a reason. Mm-hmm. And this one was just trying to shock you for the sake of shock. And on top of that, there was an added layer of intellectualism and metaphor that was very offensive.
Yeah. It's like it's hard not. It's like you watch and you're like, yeah, it's hard not to hate this film for that reason, especially with that context.
There were a couple of bits that I had a hard time understanding their purpose, I guess. Like the stain of blood that never went away. I kind of get that actually, but it was like, it's the stain of the original sin is what it's supposed to be, but the original sin was stealing the apple, not murdering, not. So it was again just wrong.
Oh right, she tried scrubbing out the rug,
and the
right?
stain. And the stain just kept going through everywhere.
That. Right,
and it's like, if it's supposed to be the original sin that never goes away, then it should have had to do with the shard breaking on the floor.
That's right.
When Eve took the apple, so to speak, not when Cain killed his brother. And then the yellow powder that Jennifer Lawrence kept drinking. Like she would put yellow powder in a glass of water and drink it whenever she felt like shit was getting kind of crazy.
Don't remember that.
It happened constantly.
Okay.
I remember that.
What's it supposed to mean?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand. She had this connection to the house. Originally, I kind of thought it was like the house was alive as a character and was telling her how to make it look, even though she wasn't there when the house burned down originally. Uh-huh. And I thought that's what the movie was going to sort of be about. And I thought because she felt into the house and there was like a heartbeat inside the house. And I thought it had some potential to be interesting. And then they just kind of like left all that behind.
Right.
Bizarre. So there's a few things that he just did that didn't make sense on top of all the things we already pointed out.
Well, he would probably love that we're talking about this movie, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah, well, he can blow me.
Oh, mother.
Stick to Black Swan, you fool.
What is he doing next? What's his next venture?
Wow. I couldn't even venture a guess. Darren Aronofsky, upcoming projects. I'm not seeing anything on IMDb, so.
All right.
Yeah, no, nothing on IMDb yet.
This is gonna sound crazy. I'm actually excited for Christopher Nolan's next venture.
Oh, really?
Tenet. Yeah, it's a spy thriller, and I'm like, yes,
nice, dude.
That's what he needs to be doing.
Oh yeah, our boy is in that. Robert Pattinson. Or
yeah,
my boy at least.
Yeah, I like him. No, I do like him.
Yeah, I like Robert Pattinson a lot. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Game time.
Yeah.
Let's do this. It's getting late. How many Drew Careys?
That was enthusiastic.
Well, it's too late. I don't want to wake anybody up in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
Who
we doing?
Well, I guess it's either J-Lar or Octavia. So, Nick, go ahead. Make your pick.
Well, who? Let's do it this way. Who are we more likely to do again?
J-Law.
Yeah.
So let's do Octavia then.
Okay.
Psych, we're doing Darren Aronofsky.
Oh.
I mean, we could.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I guess.
Because we will not do Darren Aronofsky ever again.
That's not true. We might.
I feel
If
like
we
we could
do
do a month
Requiem,
on
we
him.
might.
Dude. I feel like we could do all of these movies.
No, because
Octavia Spencer's not in a lot of bad movies, man. She's like in The Help and frickin' what's the NASA movie? Hidden Figures. Like she's in like that. We're never gonna do another Octavia Spencer movie.
who cares about what she's worth?
Let's do it. No, let's do it.
You want to do? You really want to do Octavia Spencer?
Yeah, let's do Octavia.
All right.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about this.
Okay.
Let's do Octavia. I mean, I guess we could do Pfeiffer, but
Nah, that's random. Ed Harris is in it.
that's right. Ed Harris is in that movie.
Ed Harris, yeah, he's
Do Ed Harris.
Adam.
That's true.
Javier. No, we'll do Octavia.
All right.
I want to pay homage to Octavia Spencer because I actually love her as an actress.
Yeah, me too. All right, here we go.
Net worth of Drew Carey is $165 million. The question for Nick and I, because Adam is still on suspension, how many Octavia Spencers to equal one Drew Carey?
Okay, guys, I have the number. I'm waiting on you.
You know what's interesting? I think she's sort of like a sleeper agent in this. I think she's worth a lot.
Ooh.
Okay.
I bet you she's worth quite a bit.
All right. What's your number?
I like, one of my favorite nice clean numbers for this game is the 65 mil. 1/3 of a Drew Carey.
$65 million.
3 Octavias for a Drew Carey.
That's a lot of money.
That's actually 2.5.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. 165 divided by 65.
Oh, am I thinking of 55? Let's do 55.
Okay.
Let's
a
do
lot.
55.
That's a lot
No,
of Are you sure about that, Nick?
I could be wrong, but I feel like she might be a sleeper agent on us here.
Okay.
She's in a lot of stuff, man.
Yes.
This woman gets work. I believe, did she win the Oscar or was she just nominated for The Help?
No, she won. Yeah, she
won.
did won. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
And I'm comfortable being wrong on this, to be honest. I'd rather take the shot and miss.
I appreciate it. Kind of like Darren Aronofsky and Mother.
Right.
Yeah.
In the spirit of this episode.
I'm going to go on the lower side. I guess lower than you, I suppose.
Play it safer.
Yeah, the first number that jumped into my head was 20. So I think we'll go with 8. We'll go with 8 Octavia Spencers to get to 1 Drew Carey, or about $20 million.
Okay.
Okay.
20.5 mil, something like that.
Something like that.
All right, guys. All right. Gentlemen, here's the
By
deal.
the way, I have to say, I am amazed at the fact that we have not yet run into be like, oh yeah, we don't have that information available. Like the fact that
You want to know
very
why?
obscure celebrities that we sometimes pick.
What about Tommy Wiseau?
You want to know why? Because there's always someone on the internet willing to make shit up. That's why.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, I would say a good amount of our guesses are completely fucking wrong.
Oh,
like the answer we have on the phone is just not right.
The internet is always willing to deliver misinformation.
Yeah. So it's really, beyond the fact that this game is measured in a currency of Drew Carey, it's also just like a disaster of a game. It just never it's literally like rolling dice.
Not verified by any third party. No question. All right, what's the answer? What's the fake answer, Adam Hall?
All right, the fake answer, guys, of the net worth of Octavia Spencer, supporting star of The Shape of Water and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
And being John Malkovich.
And being John Malkovich.
Of all the movies, you pick those two next to each other.
Oh, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Sure, yeah, she's in that.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. While I was watching Ma, did you see the trailer for Crawl?
Yeah.
Crawl.
Yeah.
I don't think
Sam
Raimi
Raimi.
is directing though; he's just producing, but still
that's
looks
fine.
amazing.
The director made the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, which is very underrated.
Dude, we are owed a good crocodile movie. We only have
Seriously.
Lake Placid. That's all we got.
Do you like Lake Placid?
Of course not.
Yes. Oh,
Of
that
course
makes me
not.
so fucking happy.
I do not like
He said,
Lake
of course
Placid.
not.
No,
He
Lake
said,
Placid's the best shitty movie ever. Oh, I love that movie. Oh, Lake Placid. Is
he said so many times no, and you're
I
like,
don't
yeah!
like it, Adam. I do not like it.
Oh, I love Lake Placid.
I know, but you got excited about the fact I didn't.
No, you gotta love it. It's the best terrible movie ever.
Are we speaking the same language? Who is this guy, Nick?
It's the best terrible movie ever. It's
He has
so
no
good.
clue what's going on.
Got no
He's so
idea.
detached.
Oh,
it's like you
it's
just
too
watched
late for
Mother.
this.
I want just everyone to love the shitty movies that I love.
What is the net worth of Octavia Spencer?
The net worth of Octavia Spencer is $12 million.
That was gonna be my guess. Oh my god, I almost changed my mind. Oh my god, I almost
you,
changed it to 12.
Nico.
I swear to god, I almost changed it to 12, but I still won anyway. So there you
Sucker.
go. Damn it.
Nah, you won. Nah, he won again.
You wanted that extra $100 for getting it on the nose. By the way, I recently watched that documentary about the guy who, like, obsessively found all the prices for The Price is Right.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that guy.
Yeah.
I never watched the doc, though, but I saw that it exists.
I watched it on Netflix. It's a watch.
Cool. I swear to God, I thought about going 12 at the last second, but I thought better of it because I wanted to box Nick out. That's what I get.
You know what? You lose, Nico.
I could have got it on the money.
You lose anyway.
Damn it.
What do you mean you wanted to box me out?
Well, I didn't want to like give you too much of a range, you know? Because you went 55.
If you were confident it was under, you could have literally just said like $1 less than me.
Yeah, I know, but I also wanted to be honest. It's a weird moral calculus that I did, and it ended up with a win anyway, but still.
I say you fucked up.
Yeah, I definitely did. All right, Nick, are we plugging your new podcast yet?
Yeah, so we just recorded our first episode of a new podcast. It's going to be a probably monthly show about fantasy books and fantasy novels and the fantasy genre. So if you guys are subscribed to our master feed, you'll be getting that in the coming weeks. And otherwise, we'll get some sort of form up pretty soon, and you guys can check it out. It's going to be called the Fantasy Book of the Month podcast. So we got a whole crew of random strangers off Reddit who are very interested in this topic. So, and they were great last episode, so very excited.
And that, for short, is called F-Bomb.
Yes.
Which is another one of your brilliant gimmicky Nick ideas that you thought about in the shower.
Listen.
F-bomb? Like fantasy bomb?
Fantasy Book of the Month, F-Bomb.
Yeah, that was more coincidence, but I was like, hey, it's a good acronym.
F-bomb.
You know?
I like it.
Yeah, so as Nick said, if you are subscribed to the master feed, do check that out on, it's no longer called iTunes because iTunes is going away. It's Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the master feed to check that out. Too Many Thoughts. You can also check out the website. We'll be plastering it all over social media.
And it'll be on YouTube. So
yes.
And really, if you guys get a chance, I know most of you just listen to this on audio, and that's fine. But if you want a little bit of a extra experience, check out the videos we're putting together. We're turning all of these podcasts into full-length videos for YouTube, and you can sort of actually see what segments are coming up and little extra stuff here and there. So, go ahead and subscribe to us, and we really appreciate that.
It's a big push. Yeah, we've been trying this. I thought I set up the URL, but now it's not working. But I think for the time being, toomanythoughtsmedia.com/YouTube will take you to the YouTube page. I think. Or maybe, tmt.media/YouTube will also get you there.
Our social links are all over the website, so you can find it one way or another.
Yeah.
If you've been listening to us for a while and you like what we do, we would really appreciate if you would go ahead and subscribe to that channel. So that's where you're going to see a lot of our content coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And if we get that desperate, Nico and I will commit to our Vibrator podcast.
Yes. Available only on Stitcher.
Yes.
Very niche. It's for a very specific type of person.
Yes. To fit in a very specific place, by the way. The Vibrator podcast.
What's the plan on that? You review one every week? Or?
No, the plan is to do this on the mic for an hour. And then have people hold the vibrator to their crotch, their phones to their crotch. You never heard about this idea?
It sounds familiar now that you mention it.
Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop.
Wow.
All right, that's it. Love you all so very, very much. And until next time, y'all have been especially naughty.
Naughty.